Welcome to the Journeyman Guitarist. I use the term journeyman because journeyman describes a worker, a tradesman, someone that has made most of his living doing a job. And the job I have done the most is to play guitar. I've played guitar for myself, written many albums. I got 8 albums out. Been in bands that my songwriting drove. Played guitar as a lead guitarist. And I'm also a singer, but I wasn't always a singer. As a matter of fact, in 1985, I was playing guitar in the band that I was working in, trying to push to get a record deal. We'd been together 5 years at that point, played hundreds of shows, and we were playing a club called PJ's in Daytona Beach, and we were playing 4 45-minute sets a night. So during the night, one or two of us in the band would have to give the lead singer, Jim, a break. Because he was singing all night long. And to be fair, 5-6 nights a week, 4 sets a night, he was crushing it. But some of us in the band had to learn a song or two to give him a break every now and again. And my penalty, my song, the song that I had to, the punishment, punishment. The song I had to punish people with was Mississippi Queen. Because at that point in time, I was merely a guitar player. I had gone to college to play guitar. The only time I'd ever had to sing was in choir, and it didn't go well. As a matter of fact, my first semester of college, I had 7 A's and 1 C in music school. And the C was in, you guessed it, choir. Because a singist, I was not. So now, it's 1985, I'm 23 years old, and we finish the night. We get called into the manager's office, myself and one other member of the band. And the manager was a very blunt man. He just kind of looked at us and said, hey, great band. You guys are doing awesome. Just look, Wes, yeah, don't sing anymore. Yeah, not in my club. Yeah, just don't. Yeah, so look, when you're here, no singing. Mississippi Queen, no. Just don't do it. I was shocked and a little devastated and shrunk back into my little guitar player hole. And it wasn't until the next week at the next gig when the guy said, look, I don't care what he said. We got to give Jimmy a break. You're going to sing, Paul's going to sing, and that's just the way it is. So I got back out there and punished people some more. Well, the fact of the matter is I didn't know how to sing. I didn't know what to do. And at that time, I wasn't even singing harmonies. Paul was really good at harmonies, and Mark would throw some in. So I didn't have to do it. I just played guitar. Shortly after that, I started writing a good, portion for myself. At the time, it was kind of weird. I wasn't the singer, but I was writing the lyrics and the melodies for most of our songs. Paul would write some, Jimmy would contribute a little bit, but I was kind of the driving lyrical force and melodic force behind the majority of the songs, which was weird because I couldn't sing, or at least I thought. Fast forward to 1991, the band implodes on the circuit. I find myself with no way to make a living because since 1985, now that was 6 years, I had done nothing else but play in this band. And I wasn't making a good living at all, but I was making enough to live somewhere and with a couple of roommates and pay my child support at the time. So it literally ended and I had nothing to do. So I had seen a lot of guys in Key West with acoustic guitars and making cash, just being soloists. So I went out there and I bought an acoustic guitar. I think I had an acoustic guitar. I had an Ovation at the time. And I bought another acoustic guitar is what it was. I had 2. I bought a little PA system. I went into the used record store, bought a bunch of cassettes, and I put together a 30-song set of folk tunes. Simon and Garfunkel, James Taylor, all the things, Bye Bye Miss American Pie. And within 2 weeks, I had practiced enough to get a gig at a small pub named Scotland Yard. And Scotland Yard paid me $75 to come in on a Friday night and a Saturday night. And from that, I was able to make a little money, and then I was able to get a couple more gigs, but I wasn't very good. You know, I was faking it, but I had practiced all day and every day, every minute of every day at that point, just because I knew I had to make a living. Long story short, I developed into a singer. Within a year, I was opening shows all over the country for a band called Marillion. Within a year after that, I'd had my first solo album signed to a major independent record out of Europe. Had played all over Europe by the end of the third year after actually only 2 years. By the end of 94, I'd already done shows all over the world as a guitarist, singer. And it happened quick. Now, how did it happen quick? Well, when you're struggling and you're desperate and you got to do something, 4 sets a night, 45 minutes or 3 1 hours, you're going to learn how to sing. Now, that skill developed, but I still didn't know how to sing harmony. It was around shortly after that I met a young girl named Tracy LaBarbera, who was one of the most natural, beautiful singers that I've ever met. And she came over one day and we were hanging out watching Peter Gabriel, and it was the live tour. Oh God, and I can't remember the singer's name, but he had this beautiful singer who went on to have her own career, and I can't remember her name, and God forgive me, but she was amazing. And Tracy just starts whipping out these harmonies along with her, nailing her parts, and sometimes improvising and singing with her as we're watching the show. And eventually Tracy and I started a duo, and she would sing and I would sing, and then when I would sing, she would harmonize with me. And it was through that relationship that I heard how to harmonize. Now, I had always come under the impression that to harmonize, you had to be like the Beach Boys or the Bee Gees, and you had to stack thirds and sixths and all the things and create these, static harmonies, but that's not really the way it goes. What she taught me is that great harmony is actually some of that with usually wonderful alternate melodies. And, we'll get deeper into that. But the point of the thing is through her, I learned how to harmonize, which eventually got me some of the best gigs in my life. Now, I'm a good guitar player. I can do the thing, but I'm not a shredder. I'm not out there, dazzling people on TikTok with my blinding skills, but I'm a journeyman, and I have worked and worked and worked, and I have had some complex gigs. The gig with Fish from the old singer from Marillion, that was progressive rock, and that was a hell of a tough gig. And then, of course, that led into Porcupine Tree, and if you want to see what kind of gig that is, just go to my YouTube front page, scroll down to the performance section, and I have several videos in there that demonstrate the complexity not only of the instrumental work, but the instrumental and the harmony work. And it was the ability to do both of those and do them both well that got me gigs and still gets me gigs to this day. I'm working with Vertical Horizon, and yes, Vertical Horizon is a guitar gig, but it's every much a singing gig as it is a guitar gig. So my point is if you're any kind of musician out there, whether you be a keyboard player, whether you be a bass player, whether you be a guitarist, and you want to be a really successful working musician, develop your singing chops. And there's several ways to do that, and I'm going to go deeper into that in more videos, but I want to get you started today. And this is something really actionable and something real that you can do right now. And the first thing that you can do is you can pick up your instrument, find an area on the instrument that feels good for your vocal range. We've all got different vocal ranges. I started out in what I thought was going to be a very low Mississippi Queen style vocal range and found out it wasn't for me, and actually ended up to where super high harmonies were my thing. And there's some of the videos, like I said, the Porcupine Tree videos that are on the YouTube page will show you that, and some of my own. I've got some of my own records on there. Listen to the vocals and listen to the harmonies with the vocals. So anyway, and I found that my voice, when I want to warm up and when I want to get things started, kind of likes an A. So if you're not a singer at all, or if you're a singer if you're an instrumentalist that's kind of throwing some vocals out there, let me give you the first step in connecting your ear to your voice. Okay, now there's a lot of schools and technical things and people, but this is just journeyman style. I have to learn to sing. I have to get a job, and I'm going to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a note, and then I'm going to listen to that note, and then I'm going to try and connect my voice to that note. For me, a good starting place is an A, and I just pick a vowel, and actually I kind of hum. And then I will proceed to sing a major scale, one note at a time, connecting each note on the guitar to my ear, and then connecting my ear to the pitch that comes out of my mouth. All right, so. Then you just listen. And then what you do is you work on concentrating and just run that one octave of the major scale back and forth. It is literally that simple. Start there. Start connecting your ear and your voice, and then get a little, get a little more flexible. Another move that I like to make is then I like to change the scale to a minor scale. And actually, what I'm showing you is also my dressing room warm up. I will start without a guitar, and I will go. And then I'll bust out the minor scale, and I'm not going to do it for you because it usually doesn't sound very good when I'm singing Acapulco, acapella, Acapulco, whatever. And then, the octaves, sing the octave. And then try and work some intervals in. A third. And then I'll do a little thing where I go, where I want to get some intervals going. That's the starting point. Get your voice working with a scale in a key that works well for your voice. Start it with humming, and then just go through the vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and work your vowels, and just connect your ear to that scale. The next thing you do, the next step you take, is you find your favorite song. Just pick one song, and it's your favorite song, and it's a song with a singer that you really admire. Get in your car when you're driving by yourself so you don't offend someone, so you don't scare the dog. My dog sits over there. I don't want to chase her away. And she's a bitey kind of dog, so I don't want to sing like shit and have her bite me. You know what I'm saying? Could happen. Oh, there she is. So pick your favorite song, learn the lyrics to the song, and start driving down the road singing that thing. Cop your favorite singer. Cop his tones. Cop what he's doing. You're going to laugh, but I used to love Terry Nunn of Berlin back in the 80s. I mean, not because she was cute, because she was, but because I loved some of the ways she did things with her voice. And so I would sit there and I would just be alone with my little Walkman, dating myself, cassette Walkman on, listening to Berlin records and singing along. And my voice got better and better and better, although I didn't know it was getting better at the time. I was just doing it because I loved singing with Terry Nunn. I also as a soloist, as on guitar, I would actually learn the melodies to her songs and play them on guitar. My particular love of soloing and the stylistic methods that I use to solo are usually based on singers. I've taken hundreds of songs and not learned the guitar solos. I've learned the vocals. So it's just a thing with me, and it's helped my songwriting. You know, I've probably got 90 to 100 tracks out there in the digital space that I've written, recorded, and performed. So for me, singing and guitar playing became inextricably linked. So to this day, I still cop singers. Now, I cop guitar players as well. You know, I do that, but I mostly cop singers. So start there, and then start with your favorite song, cop the vocalist, steal all the licks, and work your scales. And that's the first step to becoming enough of a singer to be a journeyman, to, as my good friend Al Bonham used to say, to get a gig on the Love Boat. You got to be able to sing and play. Anyway, be a journeyman. Learn to sing. Step one. This is the first step. Take it. John Wesley, the journeyman guitarist, signing out. I hope this helps. Catch you down the road.